Guys, we're going to get going. I know not everyone's here quite yet, but as we always have, a few guys fashionably late. Wouldn't be a Keystone Banquet with a few guys coming in late. Omar was supposed to be here today. He got stuck down in Harrisburg helping Ab move in. The car didn't work so well, so hopefully he can make it back. We'll see about him. The rest of the guys should be rolling in here in a few minutes. But I just want to start by thanking everyone for being here tonight. Can everyone hear me? Is this too loud? Or today? Appreciate everyone being here. The parents that drove up, thank you for supporting the program, for supporting the boys, and being here to celebrate the end of the year. So this is obviously a great season, and so every season, whether good or bad, deserves to be celebrated for the things that happen in it, and obviously particularly a season like this. So I just want to usually at this time in this program, I go through kind of the sequence of the year, game by game. I don't want to do that this year. It'll still be chronological, but it'll be more of the moments that have stuck with me, and probably stuck with you guys as well. You'll resonate with some of them, I'm sure. But instead of going game by game, I'm just going to give you the things that, as I look back on the season, I remember quite well. So the first one, meeting in preseason, and deciding on what our team's goals and core values would be. The first time we've done that as a team, and that meeting I think really helped us navigate the ups and downs of the year. Certainly it made us a pretty consistent team. One of the goals, as you guys remember, that we set was to never lose 2 games in a row, and this team didn't lose 2 games in a row the whole year. And good programs, yeah, we can clap for that. Good programs find a way to bounce back even when results don't go their way, and this group, as we met, it was pretty clear that this team was set on one goal. All right. Frank leading the way with abs during preseason, and half the guys just dying and not being able to keep up with Frank the Tank here. So I remember that. I remember our first game driving through the monsoon down to Elizabethtown, not knowing if we were going to actually make it to the field safely. And then after the game, of course, celebrating on the bus. That was one of the best moments for me of the year, having that dance party on the bus. What made it extra special was that the Elizabethtown coach is a friend of mine, a mentor, a coaching legend. And that's right, Joey Bag of Donuts, he came and greeted me with. I used to work camps for the Elizabethtown coach when I was younger. And he emailed me after the game, and he said, "Joe, you have a good team, and you can score in a lot of different ways, and your challenge for this group will be to keep this group together. And if you can, it could be a special year for you." And this is a guy who's coached for 40 plus years. He knows what he's talking about, and he was right when he said that. Turning the guys loose in the hotel arcade the next morning after that win, and letting them just enjoy, being college kids. That was fun to watch, and I think a good environment. Winning our home opener against Penn College 4-0. I remember that. We had some really good performances. I think that was the game Kadeem struck that wonder goal, and I think Elmer got the 4th as well, so that was fun. A great way to open at home. Playing well on the road against both Dickinson the day after Elizabethtown and the Lebanon Valley, 2 very good teams, regionally ranked teams, and playing well but not being able to finish those games in terms of finishing the chances that we had and being just a little bit too leaky defensively at that point of the year to get those types of results against those types of teams. And obviously that got addressed as we went through the year, and I think that's when our season started to change a little bit, is when we started to tighten things up defensively. But we were right in those games, and I'm pretty sure if we played the way that we had played later in the year against those 2 teams, then we have 2 regionally ranked wins under our belt. But that was part of the growing pain that we had to go through to get to where we did. Mello going in at center back. I think the first game was Penn State Hazleton, and never coming off the field for the rest of the year. That was a good move for us. How happy Mike was after the game-winning goal against Wilkes. I've never seen Mike so happy in my life. That was special. Having a real discussion as a team after the Cairn game when we lost our home opener. First time we'd been shut out all year. And really, if you guys remember, talking over by the benches after the game or the next day, and trying to figure out where we were going to go as a team, what we were going to be about, and how we were going to fix this. And to your guys' credit, we went 7-0 against conference opponents after that game. Being the most frustrated I think I've ever been down at Bryn Athyn, where the ball just would not go in. And I smashed my sunglasses, I threw my hat, and I think I generally embarrassed myself in front of my nephews, my nieces, my 91-year-old grandmother, and my whole family that was there. And just the absolute relief when James crossed that ball and Danny headed it in was I won't forget that. That was unbelievable. Watching countless guys, you know, Jose, Andrew, Ibra, Josen, Oscar, Kadeem, Jarrett, and the list probably is longer than that, battle back from injuries, you know, and get back on the field, some of them, and others try to get back on the field, but, you know, we had a lot of that this year, and the guys worked hard to do that, and that's part of being an athlete, obviously, at the college level, but I think our group, more than any of it, really put a lot into the rehab part to get better. The team fighting back late against Ursinus, I remember that game. Obviously, it was another one of those things where it was a really tight game, non-conference, and us finding a way to win because this team was resilient. We went down in a lot of games and came back and won games. As you can tell, we won four of our 12 wins came in overtime. So kind of this team had a way of when the chips were down, showing up. And that Ursinus game, I think, was a little bit of a picture of that. How prepared and ready we were to play on homecoming. That's one of my favorite moments of the year. Anytime you play Centenary, of course, it's a big game. But the fact that it was homecoming and it was a big game because both teams were right in the mix, and to destroy them 5-0, sending a clear message to them that if we see you again, get ready, and obviously to the rest of the league. That Rosemont game, down 1-0 at halftime, and not really playing all that well, having some frustrations there, and then coming out after halftime, scoring an early goal, and then scoring 3 goals in 2 minutes to break the game open. In a game that we needed to win, not just by 1 goal, because if you guys remember, there was goal differential at play in the conference right then, and we needed as many goals as we could get. And I think that hat trick, Danny, it's got to be the fastest hat trick in the history of soccer. 3 goals in 2 minutes, and I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure. But obviously that was a team thing, but it was pretty amazing to have that happen that quickly. When I decided to take the team down to Wilson, if you guys remember, we were supposed to take a bus on the day of. I decided to put more resources into the hotel and take vans down. I thought that was too big of a trip and too important of a game for us to get there, particularly playing on a terrible grass field that I had heard about, just to show up and play. And so we went down the night before, as you guys remember, stayed in the hotel. And by the time we got to the hotel, now keep in mind, we fed these guys before we left. And Wilson's only, I mean, it's 3 hours, it's a good trip, but it's 3 hours. And we get to the hotel, these guys are eating butter packets out of the hotel's breakfast stash. You know, they're raiding their breakfast cereal, and I'm thinking, this group is always hungry. That's one thing I do remember about this team, always hungry. We had to buy pizzas, Frank, you remember that? I think they didn't get there like 11:30 at night. Whatever we did worked though, because there was a good enough performance the next day to win. And then the next day versus Wilson, you know, again, it's very similar to Bernathen where it just wasn't going our way. It was really hard. The field was terrible. We couldn't stay on our feet. We gave up a bad goal on a set piece, and I didn't know if we were going to pull it out that day. Those were tense moments, and that was a game we really needed. And you know, on a whim, Mardeus, let's go. And then we win a throw in deep, and Mardeus chucks that ball into Danny, flicks it in, and then Ibra obviously wins it early into overtime. That was a big moment for this team. And again, just another example of when the chips were down, guys played, and this team found a way to get it done. Me looking at Ibrahim one day at Bertucci's and seeing him steal rolls off other guys' plates when they weren't looking. And I think he ate, honestly, 15 rolls and didn't touch anything else the whole day. And that's Ibra's pregame meal from now on. Seeing how much control our guys had at the end of the Centenary game in the semifinal, right? I mean, that was a marked difference between this year's team and last year's team, is that we were able to find a way to control ourselves. When it was a pretty combustible moment that we could have lost our minds. And a guy running at one of your teammates, swinging at him, and we found a way to keep enough of a head to now go into the final. At least we thought going into the final with a full team, with the full squad healthy. And that was a credit to this group that we kind of learned lessons from last year and made sure that we didn't repeat them. And it could have easily happened, but you guys had enough self-control to not let that happen. Watching the video of you guys celebrating back on campus together when Wilson knocked off Karen, that was cool. I didn't even know that was happening, but obviously I was down at the game, and to come back and to see the video of the guys celebrating like they did, to know that we were going to be able to host the final at home against Wilson was awesome. Watching a group of students at the CSAC final, led by Eddie, our good friend Eddie, march in to the stadium, banging a drum, have a whole team of students behind them, and really at that moment realizing how far the program had come. You know, that was a really cool moment for me. Obviously I was focused on the game, but I saw what was happening, and to see that was really neat for us. You know, how crushing it was for Kadeem, obviously when he got hurt leading up to the final, and just how disappointed he was that he couldn't play in the final was a moment that, you know, I won't forget. Watching how absolutely determined this team was to win that final, and just how you guys battled for every inch of that field against Wilson. And not that I knew we were going to win, because the game still needed to be played, but I just thought after what we've been through last year and what we've been through up to this point this year, I just couldn't see us losing that game. And you guys played that way, and that's why the result happened the way it did. I just remember sitting there watching the game, obviously into it, but being so proud of just the way the team was playing and how much you guys cared and how much you were invested into that game from the bench to the field was amazing. Watching Carlos play that ball, that amazing ball through to Junior that almost hit Ibra, thankfully he got out of the way, and then Junior to score his first goal of the year in that moment was amazing to win the title. Everyone, of course, remembers that. And to see the smile on Junior's face after he won the CSAC MVP was amazing. I've never seen a kid smile like that in my life, and rightfully so for him. To have so many students come and former players join the team on the field after the CSAC final, to enjoy that together, and see how everyone was so happy and enjoying that was special as a coach. Right? A lot of this that you do, you want the people that are around you, whether it's your coaches or the players, of course, to experience that as much as they can experience. And to have you guys be able to do that with your friends and your family and former players and so on it was awesome. You couldn't have drawn it up any better, to be honest. Celebrating in the locker room after the game and dancing, if you guys remember that. Okay, I'm sure that's recorded somewhere on video. The excitement of watching the NCAA selection show down at the library, that was an awesome moment. I know not everyone could be there because they had class and so on, but that's a really cool moment, guys. I mean, for anyone who's played NCAA athletics and is part of a team and they have a selection show, whether it's basketball or soccer or whatever, I mean, that's the pinnacle of why you play every year, is that you can sit there and wait for your name to be called, right? And for us to be able to do that and to know that our name was going to be called because we had won the conference that was awesome. The excitement of getting onto the bus headed to the NCAA tournament, that was neat. Obviously the president came and spoke to us beforehand, but just the excitement of getting on that bus, knowing that we were going to represent the CSAC as the best team in there, and that we had a good enough team to go win a game against a nationally ranked opponent was really special. And then of course the game itself, going into halftime up 1-0, with the wind in the second half, but needing to wait for my face to unfreeze before speaking to the group, because literally my face was frozen, I couldn't talk. That's how cold it was for the guys that were there, they remember that. And then even in the defeat of how proud I was of the team. And I said this in the little press conference they had afterwards, I said, look, I would take this team and go play anyone. Because I think that's how much this team has to give. And I was upset that, not disappointed in the group, but upset that we didn't get a chance to go play another game, because I thought that we had enough in us to go even further. So it's impossible to put into words how much this season meant to all of us, and I can only speak about just a few of the moments, right? There were a lot more that, of course, I remember. But as I say, guys, in a few years, you very rarely remember the results, the scores of the game, or who scored, or those types of things, but what you remember is the moments that you shared together and the relationships that you built. And that's what you take with you. And I have guys that even just graduated 2-3 years ago when they say, Coach, you're right. Because that's what keeps with you. And that's what unites you as a team. That's what unites us as a program, and no one will be able to take that away from this group. All right, that you guys are the first team in the program history to win the CSAC, and we'll share that bond forever. Okay, as guys graduate, move on, and so on, that bond is still there. And so I just want to thank you guys for making this really the best season of my coaching career, and for being a really enjoyable group to be around. Because it's one thing. The nice part about a coaching profession is that you can choose the people who you work with every day, in terms of the guys that you recruit. And I think this was a really good group. And it wasn't perfect. No season and no team is perfect. But it was a really good group and a fun group to be around. And you guys were committed to the one goal that we had and committed to each other. So I want to thank you guys for that. And say that it was a really special time in my life. So thank you guys. And I'm going to invite Frank up here in a minute because he wants to speak as well. But I'm going to go over the statistics from the year, and I've been told to read them slowly because there's a lot of numbers to deal with. So here we go. Overall, we finished 12-5-1, the second most wins in program history, second to last year's 13. We won 4 of our 12 games in overtime. We went 7-2-1 at home and 5-3 on the road. We went 5-1 in conference. We earned a 4th straight CSAC playoff appearance. We earned the 2 seed and a home semifinal game for the 2nd time in a row. We advanced to the CSAC final for a 2nd time in a row, and the 2nd time in program history. We won the program's first ever conference championship at the NCAA level, and made the first appearance, of course, in the NCAA tournament. 25 different players 25 different players started at least one game, with 23 different players starting in at least 2 games. 16 different players scored a goal. 21 different players recorded at least a point. 12 players had at least 5 points, 7 players had at least 7 points, and 3 players reached double digits points. 7 different guys scored game-winning goals for this team. We took 350 shots this year in 18 games, averaging 19.4 per game, the 2nd most shots taken in the season by any Keystone team. Unfortunately, we got less than half of those shots on goal. Okay, that we had a on-goal percentage of .451. We had 41 assists, the most in a Keystone season. And overall, 137 points throughout the whole team, and that was, again, the most in a Keystone season. Goalkeepers combined for the 5th best goals against average in program history. 5 shutouts overall, 3 in conference, which led the league, 3 conference shutouts. We outscored opponents 48-27. Averaged 2.667 goals per game, and we gave up 1.5 goals per game. Okay, the 48 goals scored is 5th best in program history, and the most since I've been here in my 6 years. In 6 conference games, we had 15 goals, 4, and only 3 goals against. Our .5 goals against average in conference games led the conference. We had 9 players earn weekly CSAC honors during the course of the season, and we earned 13 end-of-year awards. Which is, again, a program record, 5 first-team All-CSAC, 4 honorable mention, and 3 who earned conference-wide awards. So those are the statistics on the year. I'm going to invite Frank up to speak, and then we'll eat right after Frank's done. Frank's always ready.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. So as Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, there is no such thing as a self-made man. Anyone who experiences success has help and support, whether they know it or not. Players, without your efforts, we would not be celebrating a CSAC championship. Thank you. Parents and families, without your support, we would not be celebrating a CSAC championship. Thank you. To our seniors this year, thank you for helping to shape the program into what it has become today. And of course, we are grateful to Keystone College for the support received this past season. And I'd be remiss if I did not also thank Dr. Dana Harris for fueling the team. It was on her dinners we found success. I'd also like to thank Coach Schneck for redefining for me what it means to invest 100% effort into something. As a former player, I had suspicions about what went on behind the scenes, of the discussions, of the work the coaches put in. As an assistant coach, I found my expectations well met. However, what I gravely underestimated was the time required to complete all of that work. From watching film, to planning practice, to home and away game arrangements, to administrative work with the athletic department, to scheduling everyone's classes, and to academic and financial guidance. Coach is a man who truly wears many hats, 2 of which are a father and a husband, and I'd like to thank the Schneck family for their patience and support that allows Coach to be so invested in the program. So a typical day for Coach during the season might run from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. After we would leave the office, I'd go home, I'd have dinner, I would think the work was over, and then around 11:30 p.m. I'd get a text from Coach. He'd still be watching film at 11:30 midnight after he had already gone home, and we'd start talking strategy, practice planning, whatever you can think of. It was truly incredible. So Coach, a true thank you for all of your efforts, for your patience with me and with the team, so thank you. And last but in no way least, I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend Jess, who at the drop of a hat agreed to move to Factoryville with me this season. Who put her life on hold for me, and Jess, without you, this would not have been possible. Very literally, we would not have been able to afford it. This 2018 season and this team is one that I'll cherish for my entire life. So a final thank you to everyone who made it possible. So now, yeah. So now enough with the thank yous. I'm going to take this opportunity, this last opportunity to be a coach. This year was a record-breaking year, as Coach said, and he always shares the stats at each banquet. However, there's one in particular that I'd like to mention. This year, of my 5 seasons with the team, was the first season where nobody passed the fitness test the first time around. And I can't help but think, however, of the missed opportunities, the missed moments, and the wasted time when we could have been working to become better soccer players. I hold the fitness test in such high standards because I believe it's the easiest and clearest thing you can ask of a player. Here's the minimum fitness requirement. Can you achieve it? The scores, as a former player and as a coach, tell me who is truly invested, who really wants to achieve something. Who can I count on to have my back when the work becomes unpopular? It is also the first impression of a new season. This, of course, bars injuries and any extenuating circumstances. I say it's easy because if you think about it, there's no gray area with this test. It's a simple pass and a simple fail. It requires very little skill. And I really think the Giant is a great mascot for this team, considering some of the giant aspirations some of you have, whether it's to play after college or to enter the workforce. But if you fail on the simplest of tasks, how can you ever expect to reach those aspirations? You're only as good as you force yourself to be. All right, story time. So I remember watching Real Madrid play Bournemouth in preseason of 2013. The players had just come back from summer break, and this was one of the first competitions of the season. The commentators were in awe as they watched Cristiano Ronaldo play, and I remember that very clearly. They used one specific line to describe him. It's incredible, they said. Both teams are returning to the pitch and working out the kinks that come with preseason, and yet Ronaldo is playing better than the level he closed the previous season with. He actually gained form in the off-season. That was the season Madrid went on to make history by being the first team to win the Champions League a total of 10 times, and Ronaldo was also the highest scoring player in the Champions League that year. Champions League. Story number 2. In January, I joined a recreation indoor soccer league. It's fairly competitive, nothing like college though. I remember the first game, 5 minutes in, I was sucking wind, my legs had never felt so heavy, I couldn't control the ball the way I used to. And you guys all know how good I was. I couldn't shoot, I couldn't pass accurately. I was pretty disappointed in myself, to say the least. I hadn't prepared for it at all. I didn't think I'd need to prepare for this recreation indoor league. The hardest part, though, was remembering the level I played at in college and not being able to play that same way. I couldn't play my game. I couldn't play the way I wanted to. My fitness let me down, and it let my team down as well. Don't worry, though, the story has a happy ending. I ended up exercising and preparing for the following games, and now I'm running all over the field again, tracking down on defense. It's a smaller field. Tracking down on defense and getting up the field for breakaways. End-line to end-line work. The moral of the story is what preparation allows you to do. My poor fitness level prevented me from playing my game, which was an awful feeling, because fitness is the easiest part. The ball control, shooting, tactical training, that's the hard part of soccer. Don't let the easy things limit your potential. So I can't help but question, what if? What if we came into the season and everyone was fit? What if the easy things were no hindrance to the team? What could we have accomplished? Is CSAC champions the best we are capable of? This is the new standard, and I think we can do even better. Be proud of the team and of the school you represent. I know I am. Don't let this year become a mistake. Don't let yourselves down by failing to prepare for a much harder season next August. Preparation starts now, and it's exciting. I challenge you to honor the 2018 season in the only way it deserves to be honored, by raising the level, by a more consistent effort throughout the whole roster, by fiercer dedication, greater aspirations, and a higher level in the year to come, and by coming into preseason, next season, already informed. Anything less can be seen as an insult to the accomplishments of this past season. So in conclusion, I stood at this podium last year with the hopes the team would exceed the accomplishments of the 2017 season. I stand at the podium this year with the same hopes for next season. It's no longer in my power to help the team toward these goals. The honor passes to all of you. You who still have the privilege of wearing the uniform in the seasons to come. I wish you all the best of luck, and I want you to know that no matter what, I will always be proud of this team and this program. Thank you to those who came before, and thank you to those who will come after.
Now Frank knows how I feel on Monday nights down at Riverfront. All right, we're going to eat now. So the servers are going to release the tables, I think, one by one, and then we'll get going in a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it turns itself off.
It does?
No, it's recording. Right, now you're recording, it'll just keep recording.
Okay.
Sebastian Bonilla, Martinez Bothwell, Harry Cordova, Eric Gomez. Come on up, guys.
Michael.
Jose Garcia,
Mike.
Jose Mana, and Marcelo Polar.
I'm getting you right now. Nah. Yo, how you zoom this thing? Oh yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to look at Abby. We're going to go against her. Step forward, guys. Step forward.
Oh yeah.
Projector.
Hey, this right here is gonna be the best video ever made.
You get one, Carla? Okay, all right. Round of applause for the freshman class. Okay, the sophomores. Carlos Bonilla, Christian Biayingabo, James Johnson, Ian Jim, and Jalen Walters. I call Kadima.
Jesus Christ. Coach, we need lighting. Coach, we need more lighting. This is a hell of nigga.
Oh yeah, Jim.
Okay, guys. Okay, our junior class. Oscar, Angel Velasquez, Calvin Ford, Claire Stevens Joseph, Andrew Lupinacci, Jared Nemeth, Michael Niarco, Thiago Pinheiro, Carmelo Piaquinto, Aiden Powers, Ibrahim Tulkar, and Danny Zuniga.
Mike, show something before you leave. Right? Yeah. Yo, you gotta stop now and turn around. Oh, what am I doing?
Hold on, turn these lights on, Junior, a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, cause you know, I'm gonna need some light too, coach. All this for me, cause you will not see me up there when I go for pictures.
All right, in our senior class, Omar Arietta, Kwasi Kwadio, Chimeko.
I told you that he had to turn the light for me. Somebody gotta be cameraman.
Junior, zoom in.
Oh.
Put me on the camera, you're Gucci.
He's not Gucci.
Stop playing with me. Oh shit.
Chimeka is he fake?
Oh yeah, that's it right here.
Abby, you want to slide over? Guys, slide over this way.
Hey, young boy in the way.
Jordan. Oh yeah, Jordan.
Damn, he's in the way.
Oh yeah, Jordan. Team Nigeria.
Team Nigeria. Bumba clap.
Ibokwen. 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 Yes.
Okay, now we're moving on. We're going to move on to the academic awards at this point in the program. Before we do that,
Michael, are you getting that?
recognize last year's group. Okay, so last year's team, because they were awarded this past October with the fourth consecutive United States Soccer Coaches Association Team Academic Award for getting a cumulative GPA of 3.0 over the fall and spring last year. That was last year. So thank you for the group that was part of last year's success. Now this year's team,
You and me, right?
our goal, as we know, every semester is have over a 3.0 as a team, and we fell a little short of that this fall, 2.86.
Dang.
So that means that a 3.15 is required this semester, and every one of you needs to be a part of helping make that happen. We know who you are, everyone, okay? The guys that get 3.8s, let's please shoot for 4.0. Okay?
Coach, I got a 4.
Okay, Mike, that's good.
Coach,
Last semester though.
coach, I got a 5-0.
So, despite us not getting the 3.0 mark,
Yeah, Frank said.
we did have some great individual performances in the classroom last fall, and we want to recognize those guys right now. And so for the team, for the guys that got honored
Michael
with the CSAC
Nayako.
All Academic Team, that's for players who achieved a 3.2 GPA or higher this past fall season. And we had 10 guys get honored
I'm
in that
9-8.
way. So I'm gonna call you guys up now. I want you to come up and receive your certificate from
Michael, thank you
Coach
for doing
Ryder.
that for me and you.
Oscar Angel Velasquez. Carlos Bonilla. James Johnson.
James, you cheated, bro.
Jared Nemeth. Michael Niarco.
How you doing? How you doing?
Money line. All right. Aiden Powers. Elmer Ramos. Jordan Vance. And Danny Zuniga.
We zoo people, we just get just 3-0 and we stay there. We stay at 3.0.
Oh, y'all need to pick up the picks, alright? You. Now, up we go. Hey, after the picture, guys, just stay up here, though, because I'm going to announce the Keystone winners in terms of the academic.
Michael won.
Ambulance.
Stay up here, stay up here, stay up here. I'll sit in the whole row. You better to get them. All right. So, stay up here.
Yeah.
Have them up here. While we have them up here, all right, we're going to recognize the following guys who earned Keystone academic distinctions. So honors list is 3.5 GPA or higher. The dean's list is 3.7 or higher for the semester. Okay, so on our honors list, Andrew Lupinacci. Let's give Andrew a round of applause.
Good work, guys.
And our dean's list, 3.7 or higher.
Michael.
Carlos, Michael, Aiden, Jarrett, and Elmer.
Don't bring money to
Okay,
nobody.
guys, great job representing what it means to be a Keystone soccer player, a student athlete at the highest level. Round of applause for the whole group again. You guys did it. Okay, we will now present our end of year awards that were earned by members of the team. So each week, as we know in the season, each week the CSAC names an offensive player of the week, a defensive player of the week, and sometimes 2 or 3 players who earn weekly honor roll, meaning they had great performances but they weren't chosen as the player of the week. And as I've said in the past, and as everyone knows, unless a team either wins all or most of their games in a week, the individual honors don't happen. Okay? So even though these are individual awards, they're at the same token team awards as well. Alright? And so when I call your name, guys, please just stand up where you are. Coach Frank will give you your certificates for just the weekly honors through the CSAC, okay? And so CSAC weekly honor roll nominees were Sebastian Bonilla, Carlos Bonilla, Daniel Zuniga twice, Eric Gomez. CSAC Defensive Player of the Week, Eric, just stay where you are. CSAC Defensive Player of the Week, Eric Gomez twice. And CSAC Offensive Player of the Week, Harry Cordova 1 week, and Danny Zuniga the next week, okay? Round of applause for our weekly Now, we're moving on to the CSAC End of Year Awards. Okay? Voted on, these awards were voted on by all the opposing coaches in the conference. Right? That's how the end of season voting works, is the coaches vote, you can't vote for your own player, okay? And the rest of the coaches vote for your players, okay? So, guys, when I call your name, please come up here and stay, and we'll take a picture at the end. There's a lot of guys, as we already said, we've won a lot of end-of-year awards, okay? So starting with CSAC All Sportsmanship Award, Kwasi Kwadio. Okay, honorable mention team, All Conference. Eric Gomez, Kwasi Kwadio, Andrew Lupinacci, and Ibrahim Sankar.
And Thiago Silva.
A little bit. First team all conference. Okay, award winners. Carlos Bonilla, James Johnson, Kadeem Shim, Jordan Yates, and Daniel Zuniga.
That award is yours. But
Okay, round of applause for all of our first team all-conference winners. Thanks for being the team we just had here. Team second. Okay, Kadeem was also awarded 13 Mid-All-Atlantic Region. Okay, let's round of applause for Kadeem. As well as Defensive Player of the Year, Kadeem Chu.
Senegal. Wolof.
Kadeem was awarded Offensive Player of the Year in the CSAC Conference.
I like that smile, Kadeem.
Got it? All right. Well done, man.
The proof is not missing.
And the final award, he already received the plaque, was Kwasi Kwadio, CSAC Championship Game MVP. Give him a round of applause. Okay, we're moving on to our, yeah, you already have the plaque, Junior. At the end of the game, remember? Okay.
Don't call me like that.
He was too busy eating ice cream. We're going to announce our end of year program award winners. So the awards that were voted on by the players themselves. Okay, and we have 6 awards that we're going to give out, and then a coach's award. And the way we do this is we have the guys vote at the end of the year, and we just tally the votes up and see how it comes out. So the first award, the first 2 awards, these guys aren't here, so I'll just quickly go through it, and we'll maybe clap for them at the end. But the first award is the Trainer's Award, and that award is presented to that player or players who, in the opinion of his teammates and staff, overcame the most physical and mental adversity throughout the season. And I think we had a few guys, as we usually always do, that would qualify for that. But the guy who you guys voted for as the award winner is Jose Ecia. Okay. The second award is the Newcomer of the Year Award, which is presented to the newcomer who, in the opinion of his teammates, contributed the most to the program during his first season with the program. And this year's Newcomer of the Year Award goes to Harrison Cordoba. Okay, so let's give those guys a round of applause. Okay, the third award is to be presented to that player who, in the opinion of his teammates, was the most improved player over the course of the season, the Team MIP. And this year's winner is Carmelo Piaquinto.
George Lopez.
Okay, the next award is the Uncommon Award, which is to be presented to that player who, in the opinion of his teammates, was the model teammate. Inspiring others, setting a great example, and doing whatever it took to help the team. And yes, it is appropriate that the 2-time winner of the award for the last 2 years will hand it off to this year's winner,
Sebastian.
who is Kwasi Kwadio.
I voted for you, man. I voted for you. Black and yellow.
Junior, look at the camera. Was he looking? Look at that. Yeah, go on.
Yo, you're supposed to be a model teammate. Look at the camera.
Oh, we're gonna have to bring him back out here too many more times.
All right. The next award to be presented to that player who, in the opinion of the coaching staff, displayed excellence in both personal discipline and character as an individual. Okay? The Coach's Award. This year's Coach's Award goes to a guy I could count on day in and day out. It is not right. He understood his role. Okay? He took his role seriously. He played his role to perfection.
Jamaica.
Okay? He didn't say much, but he was never afraid to step up and put guys in line if they needed to be for the good of the team. Okay? He laid his body and his soul in line for the team each and every day, and that was never questioned. Okay? And the thing about it, coaching, if any of you guys go into the coaching profession, you have to have guys on your team who you know exactly what you're going to get out of them day in and day out. He is the epitome of a hard hat guy, living proof of what you can accomplish when you show up each and every day and give the best to yourself with an honest day's work. And he was definitely an asset to us as a coaching staff because he did that. This year's Coach's Award winner is Jordan Vance.
Principal Vance! Coach, you got it wrong. You said you're going to talk to this. That wasn't Shaq. Are you coming back next year?
Yeah.
Just one more guy.
You got one more year.
Okay, the next award to be presented, Team MVP, presented to the player who, in the opinion of his teammates, typifies outstanding ability, spirit, and determination. And this year's MVP is Carlos Bonilla.
Oh yeah? M. Sebastian.
Okay, the senior award, our final award. The award is to be presented to that senior who, in the opinion of his teammates, contributed the most to Keystone Soccer during his time with the program. And this year's senior award was almost unanimous. Okay? And Kawasi Kwadio, this year's senior award.
Get back there.
I promise you.
Boy, you play more than any other team.
Not how you guys voted.
Oh, Coro.
You know what? I forgot to give out a few gifts, so let me do that now. This is for our manager's happy.
What you forgot? You sick, Julie?
Okay, the last thing that we do is we'll honor our seniors. Okay, we'll honor our seniors. And I know we're missing Omar, but we'll go through this anyway, okay? So this year's group of seniors, what did this group accomplish? Okay, this group made the playoffs every year, going a combined 42, 26, and 4 over their 4 years. 26, 13, and 1 in conference games. The best 4-year stretch of any class in program history. They've been part of 3 NSCA Teen Academic Awards, okay? And maybe a part of a 4th. We'll see what happens. They earned the right to play in 7 playoff games. 7 playoff games, and they won 4 of them. Okay, they played in 3 CSAC semifinals, 2 CSAC finals, and of course this group of seniors will be known as the first group of seniors to go out as CSAC champions. Let's give them a round of applause just for that. Okay, as proud of them as I am for what they accomplished on the field, I'm more proud for how they represented our program off the field as well. Okay, a class group of guys, a lot of similarities in this year's senior class as to last year's. Okay, in terms of the way that they put themselves into the campus and how well respected they were on campus. Okay, good people, and that takes you a long way, particularly in this type of profession. So I just want to say a few words about each one of them, and then give them a chance to say a few words as well if they want. We'll start with Omar because he's not here. Okay. The first and most accurate image I have of Omar is him coming in, first year, preseason, him gliding around the track at our fitness test, 1.5 miles, not even sweaty. Okay, he's running like it's too easy for him, and coming in at 8:26. So passing the test, but with 4 seconds to spare, and knowing that he probably could have done it in 8 minutes easy. Okay, and that's Omar, as we know Omar well, and Omar is very consistent. Okay, and not much change over those 4 years is what I would say, and I would say that he was here as well. But the one thing I will say about Omar is that he was consistent in the areas that were even more important than the soccer. And those of you guys who know Omar know what I'm talking about. He's a great teammate. He's a good person. All right? And he was always a guy to lend a hand, to give a ride, to not even know. No one knows, okay? He didn't ask any recognition for it, but he did those things behind the scenes. And I would never find out about them unless I asked the guy, well, how'd you get to the airport? Omar gave me a ride. Right? And this is the type of guy Omar is, and he's consistent. All right? And you know, we've been talking a lot about consistency in our program. Okay? And when we saw Omar perform on the field, which we knew he could, that session had an extra sharpness to it, and we knew Omar had a flyer of a day. Now, maybe it didn't happen as often as maybe we would have liked, but he was certainly consistent in the way he went about his business. And so, we're going to miss Omar because of who he is as a person and who he was as a teammate. Let's give Omar a round of applause. The next guy I'll speak about is Chim. Okay. Chim is a guy who's impossible not to like, but a guy that'll drive you crazy at the same time. Okay. A beloved figure on campus. Okay, a guy who's at all the events supporting his friends, and whether it's the basketball, or he could be found in the CAF having a very heated argument about NBA players, all right, or he could even be found chasing the ball way back behind the goal. Now, what you need to know is that Chim, in all my years of coaching, he's the most expressive player I've ever had the privilege of coaching. Okay, I could call Chim's name in a film session, and the look of sheer surprise would just, it makes me laugh every time. I can't help it, okay? He'll miss a chance in the game and his head immediately goes down, okay? What Chim feels comes out very quickly through his whole body. And then when he would convert a chance on the field, he would spontaneously break out in the dance probably every time, right? Just couldn't contain himself. And you know what? There's a lot to be said for bringing a lot of passion to what you do, okay? And I think Chim's one of those guys. An absolute pleasure to have. The progress that Chim made, okay, and maybe the guys, only the seniors would know, from his first year to where he ended was remarkable. And I'll give you a few stats. He made more progress soccer-wise than almost anybody we've had in our program. Okay, his first 2 years, okay, played in 2 games his first year, played in 7 games his next year, so his first 2 years in the program, he had 1 shot on goal. 7 games played, 1 shot. Okay? No points. Starting his junior year, okay, over the last 2 years, played in 24 games, started in 3 of them, scored 7 goals for his career for 14 points. Okay? Last year at the banquet, his teammates, you guys, recognized him as one of the most improved players of the year. And Jim worked hard technically to make that kind of a leap. That doesn't happen by accident. And I give him tons of credit for that. But the thing that I appreciate most about Jim is yes that he worked hard, yes that he saw progress, and I was happy for him to see those things. Because as we know in athletics, it's no guarantee. You can put everything into it that you're asked to put into it and not see the results. That's the inherent risk of being a part of an athletic team. Right? But the thing that I respect and value the most about Jim was that he spent a lot of time on that bench waiting for his time to come. And sometimes we'd get him in and sometimes we didn't. But that never, ever, not once, diminished how happy he was for the teammates that were on the field that were having success, or that we scored the game-winning goal. And he was the first guy off the bench running down that sideline to congratulate his teammates. All right? And that, Jim, that is a quality that you can't teach. That is a quality that no good team can do without. And he brought that every day. All right? And so, Jim, I want to recognize that because that's not easy. That takes a strong personality and a guy who's thinking a little bit bigger beyond himself to do that. And you did that day in and day out for your 4 years. And I appreciate that about Jim. Let's give him a round of applause. Jim, we're going to miss that smile. We're going to miss that support of the program. And we appreciate your time put into it. So thank you for your time. Jim, did you want to come up or not?
Versace.
Jordan. You better figure something out. Jordan.
Cool. Well, it was really an honor playing with you guys. I didn't think that I would get to know you guys. When I came in, I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just came because I just like soccer. I wanted to play. But then like everybody grew on me. I really like soccer and it was just fun. I don't know what to say. I'm not good at speeches.
Cry.
I'm not crying. You know, he gave me a chance when I asked for it. He knew what I needed. He told me what I need to do to get better at the game. And that's pretty much it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so obviously we never make the guys speak, but if they want to share a few words, of course you're welcome to come up. The next guy I'm gonna speak about is Jordan. Okay. I remember the questionnaire that Jordan filled out for before he was a senior in high school, and we filled out a recruiting questionnaire. And on the recruiting questionnaire, he put that he was a striker first and a defender second. Okay. And he had a video. Yeah. Okay. So he has a video to go along with it. So I'm watching this video, and here's this kid. He's from the Jersey Shore. He's got bleach blonde hair, and I see him running back to midfield after his team scored a goal, and he's got that Jordan smirk on his face. And I'm going, I don't know about this guy. And I watched a little bit more, and in the video, he's just dominating guys physically, and he was a defender in the video for high school. And smashing balls up the field, winning aerial balls. So there were a few things I said, I like this. We'll find out a little more. And then a week later, I got an email from his coach. And I want to read you what his coach wrote. He said this: Jordan is that rare find. He's a great listener. He looks you straight in the eye when communicating. And more importantly, he's a great teammate. And his club coach was right. Okay, and Jordan came up for a visit later that spring. I met with his parents, and he chose to come to Keystone. He was looking at a few other schools and so on. And man, I'm glad he did. And that was a big moment for our program when Jordan decided to come. He's been an absolute pleasure to have in the program. It was tough to have him leave after his sophomore year to pursue a bigger school, but the way that Jordan went about his business every single day, and how much respect he had for his teammates and for the coaches and for the program, kept the door open for him to return when he figured out that, you know what, maybe Keystone was the best fit for me from the start. And when I heard that he was considering coming back, I jumped at the opportunity. And that doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often where a guy can leave the program and come back into it. But the way that Jordan conducted himself day in and day out, He deserved that chance to do that. And, you know, one of the things Keystone, if you had told me when I watched that video, when he came to Keystone, when I watched that video, if you had told me that he was going to be our left back, be first team all conference, start in 36 of the 47 games he played in 3 seasons, right? I would have told you that you're crazy. Okay, because in this video, he touched the ball 3 times with his left foot. And one of them was a shank out of bounds. Okay? But Jordan, as I've already said in his Coach's Award speech, has a way of getting things done because of consistently coming and giving his best each and every day. And the progress that he made soccer-wise was almost as impressive as anyone else's. But the thing that I love most about Jordan is that he was a guy that you could count on. All right, he's a guy that you could count on. He had a good heart, okay, and he cared an awful lot about this program. And there's guys, I don't want you to let this go by. That what you can accomplish by showing up every day and giving the best to yourselves is amazing. And Jordan is the epitome of that. And so Jordan, thank you for choosing Keystone. Jim and Diane, thank you for supporting us and Jordan through that.
Garlic nuts.
But Jordan, thank you for being such a great teammate and putting everything that you put into this program. Let's give Jordan a round of applause.
Come on, go say thank you. Get it. Get him up. Don't say thank you. I come with you.
Okay, well, he can come up after if he'd like. But, so the next guy I'm going to speak about is Elmer. And the one thing that everyone will probably know about Elmer is that he's had a lot of ups and downs during his time here at Keystone. But he stuck it out. Okay, and I have the utmost respect for Elmer for doing so, because that wasn't easy, I'm sure, at a lot of different points. As a coach, okay, the one thing that you're looking for in people is improvement. Okay, that you can see a guy come in at one place and end in a different place. Okay, progress. Okay, and that means grade-wise, that means soccer-wise, that means athletically-wise. Okay, that means character, personal development-wise as well. Those are the things that we look for. When we judge and we look at guys in terms of their progress through the years, that's what we're looking at. And I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, and I think Elmer would agree with this, that there's been a tremendous amount of progress during his 4 years here with the program. Okay? Each year, his GPA is steadily going up. Okay, started off a little rocky, 3.0, 3.2, 3.4, pushing 3.5, and obviously had a fantastic semester last fall. Each year, the number of games played and started has gone up, and points scored. Obviously, maybe not as many as he would have liked, but progress nonetheless. Okay? Each year, we asked him to mature in a lot of different ways. Okay? To not allow the things that he couldn't do or some of his frustrations get in the way of everything positive that he brought to the program. That's what we were asking of. And without a shadow of a doubt, that happened. Okay? And obviously, in the middle of all that was coming back from an ACL tear, which is not easy, as unfortunately a few of you guys know. Right? But the thing about Elmer is that every time that we would meet and have these conversations where we're going over the things where I think he needs to improve, the things he does well, but areas for improvement, sometimes those conversations with guys, they don't make much of an impact. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know when I'm talking to a guy if he's really taking it in and if there's going to be any kind of outward change in it. And Elmer was always self-aware enough and humble enough to see the areas that he needed to get better in and make those improvements. Okay? And I think, I don't know, the ACL rehab was probably a tough time for him to do all those things, but he came back stronger, fitter, okay, and a little bit more focused, you would say, after that, more positive. And I give him a ton of credit, because that type of injury, and we've always read it in the news and so on, guys going through that, and it puts them into a little bit of a funk, and it's hard for them. And Elmer came back better in all the ways that he was before the injury. And so that's not easy to do. I want to commend Elmer for that. Last spring was a great time for us, because he came back in that game, and you probably remember this, Elmer over at Scranton, and he looked strong, and he looked fast. He looked better than where he was before. Scored a goal in that game and came in and carried that into preseason. He came in fittest you ever been, right, Elmer? I think he missed the fitness test by a few seconds. Fittest guy on the team this past fall, which we know was not the best standard because of Coach Frank's speech, but the fittest guy on the team, okay? And that's after an ACL surgery. And so, Elmer, I know at times it was hard. I know at times the on-field results maybe weren't where you wanted them to be, but I give you a lot of credit, and I appreciate everything that you brought to the program during your time, and you were a big part of us, and we're going to miss you. Let's give Elmer a round of applause. As Elmer comes up here, I just want to say that hopefully the lessons that he learned and some of the progress that he made serves him well, as his goal, career goal, as some of you may or may not know, is to serve our nation in the Air Force. So, Elmer, thank you.
I guess I want to start by saying thank you to everybody. When it came to, like when I first got to Keystone, I didn't really know what to expect. I honestly wasn't expecting to even play college soccer because I honestly, I was always hard on myself. I didn't think I was good enough for it. And Coach Nate gave me the opportunity, so I took it. Like the first 2 years were a little rough. Family lived overseas in England, so I was 4,000 miles away from home basically. So it was a little rough patch. And then I guess I kind of am glad in a way of the injury because it made me miss the sport that I love playing. It kind of reminded me how much fun I had on the field. And so when I came back, I just wanted to do the best I could do. I honestly didn't care about how many games I played, the stats. I just wanted to enjoy my time. And I mean, we got the ring, so that's really the ultimate goal. So. I grew a lot. I was really immature. I still am immature, but I'm a lot more headstrong now, and I'm glad for it.
And
so.
strong.
And strong. So thank you.
Progress, right? As we say, progress. All right, last one, obviously, Junior. Okay. Where do I begin with Junior? Okay. My favorite thing about Junior is that he's a giver. Okay. Meaning, some guys, when you coach and you've been around this thing long enough, on any team, there's going to be takers and there's going to be givers. And Junior's always been the giver. He naturally likes to help people. People are drawn to him. He's got a great sense of humor at any moment in time, as we know. But Junior also has very good leadership qualities as well. And he leads in a different way than maybe you would expect, but he leads in a quiet way and in an effective way because they're mainly based upon personal relationships with others. Okay, and that's quite an effective way of leadership. As we probably all know, he didn't come from a real supportive environment, but he never let that be an excuse for not being reliable. Junior was very reliable. He never let that be an excuse for not being a great teammate. He was always a great teammate. And I give him so much credit for being able to juggle all of his responsibilities. Soccer, school, all of you guys do that, and work. God knows Junior worked a lot. Okay? I can't keep track of how many jobs Junior's had. But I think there's a few: Krispy Kreme, auto mechanic, bartender, insurance sales, warehouse, and I'm sure there's probably 10 more that I don't know about. But I'm pretty sure, seriously, that 99% of kids in his situation wouldn't have been able to make it through 4 years, supporting themselves, and everything that he put into the program. And that's an honest statement, because I've seen it happen before, and he found a way to do it. Because I think, in my mind, if you care enough about something, you'll find a way to get it done. And he did that. So I just want to recognize him for his loyalty to the program, for his loyalty to you guys, his teammates, the number of rides he's given, the number of people he's let use his car, the number of times he's helped a teammate in need. Those things can't be counted. They can't be measured. They literally can't be counted, but they can't be measured in terms of the impact on our program. A guy who always left his heart and soul on the field. Put his body in harm's way for the good of this team, which, as many of us will remember, almost cut his career short with the head injuries. And I know that type of sacrifice that almost cut his career short because of the concussions I know Junior would be the first one to tell you that it was a hard time for him to be able to come back from that. Do I want to play still? I'm not sure. It's hard. And to his credit, he came back. But that doesn't surprise me on Junior. Because here's one thing I know about Junior. Is you can knock him down, because he got knocked down plenty of times on the field. And he always came back. You better be ready, because he's coming back, and he's coming back with a smile on his face. And that's who he is. And I just so appreciate what he brought to the team. In his own unique Junior way, but what he brought to the team in terms of consistency, reliability, and how much you put into this program. Soccer-wise, it's unquestioned how good of a career he had here. I mean, I'll read you the statistics. You guys probably don't know this, but on the field, started 38 of the 65 games he played in, 14 goals, 14 assists. That's good for 42 points, which is 6th all-time here at Keystone history. But more importantly than that, it's the type of goals and assists that he scored. If you look at just this year, statistically, this was Junior's worst year. Okay, it was his worst year. He had 1 goal and 5 assists. But let's look at the impact. Okay, 3 of his 4 assists were on game-winning goals. E-Town in overtime, Casanova, and Wilkes in overtime. And then in the CSAC final, his first goal of the season and last goal of his career, wins the title, all right, and he's awarded the CSAC MVP. Can you write a better script than that for a guy who put his heart and soul into the program for 4 years? You can't, right? You can't. And I just couldn't think of a better person for it to happen to than Junior. And that's why I said he thinks he had a bigger smile when he came here freshman year, but I've never seen a bigger smile on his face after he won that CSAC MVP award, and we're basking in the glow of the title. And that was such a happy moment for me, because I know what he's gone through to get to that point. And to be able to see him see that come, and for it to be the way he gets sent off in terms of his on the home field, was just nothing short of amazing. And so I just want to thank you, Junior, for everything you put into this program. I'm so proud of you and for how you stuck with it and what you've done for us here. And let's give Junior a round of applause. The banquet's got to be over by the time you get up here.
Mic check. Alright, as all of you guys know, my name is Junior. So nice to meet you again. Well, like Coach said, you know, I had it was the best 4 years of my life, and anything I joined, high school and everything. I just want to say thank you to everyone, because without you guys, I wouldn't even be here. Waking up every day, coming to practice, and getting the strength to even go to work, and all of this is because of all of you guys being by my side, encouraging me, waking up each day and having somebody next to me saying, "It's okay, you can get through it." And especially the ones that's been there with me since day one, like my roommate, my old roommate Elmer. He already know everything since day one. Everybody that I live with, I just want to thank you guys, because just like Coach said, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy path, like going somewhere, not knowing anybody, and not having your family support and anything and as such. Most people I know will either give up or I don't know. But it's just, you just gotta find the courage out of whatever it is that, wherever you always have to find a sack somewhere to push you up and do whatever you gotta do and find the strength in that. So to everybody here that's constantly battling something, I just want to say to you, it's never the end of it. Don't always put your heads down. Just find something. Find a look inside of every negativity. There's always a positive aspect in it. Like whether you get knocked down, you got injured, and anything, just look behind that, because you always see the bright side. And for those who are trying to follow the future in soccer and so on, good luck. Just work as hard as you can. Nothing is given, just like Coach says every day. You always have to work harder. And never think that today I work hard, so it's just it. You always have to work harder and harder, because the harder you work, the next person next to you is working even harder. So you always want to just like beat yourself up and keep going, but you have to be smart about it, and always thank your family that's around you, because they're the reason why we're here. Our parents back home. Yes, I didn't have all that opportunity and so on, but I just want to still thank my family, because without them I wouldn't be here too. So don't always take your family for granted. That's big. And you guys are my family, and I will miss you guys. Wherever I go, I'll always take you guys with me. So I just want to thank you. That's my key.
All right, Junior, thank you for those words. All right, now it's time. We're going to watch our end of year video. All right, and then I think that's it, right? We're going to watch our video, and then we'll do the rings.
Cody, turn the camera. That was our girl go today. Wheels. Oh, baby, come Why'd you win the Beatles? Where are you going, bro? Mike never ran so much. I was passing the fitness. You wanted to celebrate right in front of him, bro. He's dead. I told you, give him 23 balls. Wheels. That's what I do, man. Hey, after. My skin was gone.
That was day before.
But that's when the living budget was nice.
Self-retarded. That's us loving the man.
You went crazy, bro.
Early on.
Eric Gomez guessed right and punched it away.
What is this? We done Duke already.
By the way, Frank made that as if you couldn't tell, but let's give Frank a round of applause. All right, so for the rings, guys, we're going to call you up, and it's going to be random order because that's how they are in the box. Frank, I'm going to ask you to come up here, and we'll do that. Obviously, not all the rings have been paid for, as we know, but I don't want to miss this opportunity to do the photo shoot with you and your teammates. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna give everyone their rings, okay? But the guys who haven't paid for them have to give them back to us before they leave. When you get the money to pay us, then you'll get to the office and you get to keep it.
Hand free.
So here we go.
We have a light on?
Yeah, we can't make the light.
Isn't the lights?
Okay, so here they are. Turn those lights on, Junior.
Joe, which one is it?
Just hit one. I think it's a presentation maybe on the right. Or meeting. I don't know. There we go. All right.
Did I get it?
Starting off,
IT specialist.
Joseph. We will not divulge who paid and who did not pay. We will.
No one to give it back.
Next up, Eric Gomez.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Next up, Elmer Ramos.
I paid. Oh yeah.
Next up, Ryan Perez. Next up, Ian Power. Next up, Junior. Next up, Jalen Walter. Next one here. Next lucky winner, Johan, number 21. Oscar. In the boxes. Johan, huh? Michael. Number 5, get up here. Next up, Danny. Next up, number 2, James. Next up, number 4, Andrew Bonacci. Cold, bro. Now, some of the rings may feel a little big. I know mine did, but it's better bigger than smaller. Let's put it that way. You can always space it out, and I think in the summertime it'll fit just fine. Number 22, Claire Stevens. Sebastian Bonilla. Number 3, Carmelo Pinto. Number 26, Jordan Vance. Number 24, Kadeem. Number 13, Carlos. All right, get down to it. Number 11, Tiago. Go get that ring, boy. Work it out, boy. Number 12, Jamaica. These guys are getting nervous. These guys are getting nervous. Did you pay? Number 8, Martinez. Okay. Uh-oh. Number 17, Christian. Where's Christian? Here we go.
His birthday.
And last, 39, is Marcelo.
Parents, school support. I'm sure he knows where it is.
All right, guys. So the plan is, let's I'll make a few quick closing announcements, and then we'll come up and do pictures. Get that box in a minute. All right. So just in closing. Thank you for being here today. Thank you everyone for making time out of their weekend schedule to be here. Couple notes. The plaque and the ball will be going over to Gamble to the trophy case over there, so that our special season's commemorated for as long as they have a trophy case over in Gamble. So that'll be going over there, so you better check that out starting this week. At halftime of the televised women's basketball game this Wednesday, they'll be honoring our team. Our CSAC team at halftime of the women's basketball game this Wednesday night. They're having a televised game, so this is the first time the guys are hearing about that, but they're doing that this Wednesday, so we'll talk about that. Before we leave, I'd love to take a picture with everyone up in front, and then any individual kind of groups that want to do that as well. So parents, if you could be our photographers, guys, get your rings on. And then for the guys who we need the rings back, we'll get them back before you go. Okay. All right, guys, come on up here. Let's do. Hold on, coach. Here we go.